Hey, remember when I said I was taking requests for challenge runs? Well, I'm 5 months late, but here's that Canvas Curse video you requested. The DS Kirby games are some of my favorite games of all time. In fairness, I guess not Squeak Squad, but the other three are very near and dear to me, and I replay them all the time. Superstar Ultra is my literal favorite game of all time, and Mass Attack showed me that even as late as 2011, the DS could still churn out so many great ideas into one single game. But the first game, Canvas Curse, really was something special. The way you move Kirby, how you move Kirby, the whole package was so perfectly fit for the DS. I love it. Up, down, left, right, diagonal, whatever. Controlling and moving Kirby in this game is perfect. But you all know me, I gotta ruin that. Today, we're gonna take a look at Canvas Curse and see if it can be cleared without drawing ink going left. Right, diagonal right, and straight lines to bounce Kirby off are fine, but as far as moving Kirby goes, we can't move him left with ink. This is actually more difficult than what was requested of me, but what can I say? I'm a masochist. So, of course, the number one question is, how do we make Kirby go left if we can't move him that way ourselves? There are actually a few ways, depending on what resources you have available to you. The most obvious one is, of course, if Kirby bumps into a wall, he'll turn around. If he's facing right when he bumps, he moves left. That's pretty simple, I'd like to think. But if you don't have a wall, you can also draw a straight enough line in front of Kirby, which turns him around. But what if you aren't grounded and nowhere near a wall? In that case, the ceiling has to become the wall. Draw a line going diagonally right, and keep drawing it past the ceiling. Kirby won't really know what to do for a while, poor little guy, but eventually he gets his act together and starts going left. Discovering this was satisfying on a level I don't really even think I can describe, but this is really important because it, makes this possible. Most of the difficulty in the early game comes down from trying to get the medals, and actually, on the topic of the medals, as usual, I try to clear these challenge runs 100%, get everything. In this case, that only applies to the main game with Kirby, but still, I went after every medal. But I want to try something a little different. To not bloat the video with talk of the medals and nothing else, I'm going to upload a separate video in a day or two that's nothing but me getting every medal with this challenge run in mind. Although with that being said, there's not much to say about the earlier levels, so instead of talking about them, I'll go over some important details for later. Most notably, using copy abilities, or in this case, not using copy abilities. Yeah, outside of specific scenarios, using them is actually a really bad idea. We just gotta pretend Kirby's adventure never actually happened. See, the reason why copy abilities are generally bad is because, with an ability, Kirby can't do his quick dash, and using said dash is what allows us, 9 times out of 10, to turn Kirby around when he's touching a ceiling. It's also recommended to stack up on lives in the early game, since there's also a fair amount of brute forcing later on. Get a ton of lives and get ready to see this happen a lot. Our first roadblock is in Machine Mansion, with these two shot zone star blocks blocking Kirby from advancing. Ideally, we could just hug the ceiling like normal, but that winds up being really difficult due to the size of this gap, as well as our limited ink. As you can see, this is how I wound up getting through, but this is the first part of the run where there's actual consequence for messing up, and it's tough. This is only World 4, is what I would say for your standard video, but honestly, this winds up being the solution to everything. Yeah, I kind of hate to spoil it early, but everything else that proves any kind of a challenge, such as this part in Dungeon Dome with the section that has the walls that bounce Kirby away. This part in particular had me for a while, but with enough health and strategic line art, truly Kirby fan art, we can get through just fine, no problem. All jokes aside though, I'm gonna be honest, all of the obstacles of the run boil down to either having a lot of patience or damage boosting into the ceiling or wall or whatever point of contact Kirby needs to turn his face around. I could say sections such as this one in Volatile Volcano are really difficult, and they are, but there's only so much I could say, only so many jokes I can tell, and only so many clips of Kirby getting hurt without making this video redundant. There's an occasional unique moment, such as this one, again in Volatile Volcano, where you need to make these metal kaboo fall to their death without touching the ground. I really like this since I couldn't damage boost it. I had to plan when I draw a line for Kirby to escape on, find the best place to fall, and then go from there without drawing my ink left. There's a very similar challenge in Mad Mechanism where these bombs need to detonate near the stone walls to blow them up, but one of them is in the upper left corner of all places. I kind of wish there was more to say on most of the run, but there just isn't. And yes, I understand part of this is because I'm not showing the medals in this video, but then the video would be completely bloated. Kinda had to pick my battle between experimenting with something different or bloating a single video, and obviously, I don't want to bloat. Not anymore. That being said, the run itself was seriously a really fun time. Kind of hoping that the background footage kind of demonstrates that point. Really, it's the reason why I'm trying to draw this video out. Draw this out. It's Canvas Curse. I didn't even try on that one. Why I'm trying to draw this out as long as I can. This is a great challenge run to do live. Once you know what to do and how you need to get through each level, the actual act of doing it is a lot of fun. Even the Krakow levels are doable, although on the topic of boss battles, I will admit that I had to draw left during the paint roller fight. But, I mean, Kirby didn't move left, so technically the rules weren't really broken. I don't count this since it isn't for any of the levels anyway, but you all know how cheeky I can get with the rules and stuff. Day-to-day is easily doable. There's really nothing out of the ordinary for that fight, and the same almost applies to both of the Drossia fights. The only difference being that she actually has some difficult to dodge attacks, but on the whole, she goes down relatively normally. This is one of my favorite Kirby final bosses, so I fought her dozens of times. That might have something to do with why I got through this pretty easy, but point being, I was really surprised with how difficult this challenge was, while at the same time having so little to say about it. Trust me, I love Canvas Curse, and I talk about it all day if I could, but I don't want to waste too much of your time. Too much? Still, aside from a possible exception with the paint roller boss fights, depending on how you want to look at it, you never have to draw ink going left to clear Kirby Canvas Curse. You know, as far as the main game is concerned. I'm not talking about Rainbow Run or anything like that. Who'd be crazy enough to even try that?